Hello, my friends. My name is Dr. Farah Adilwani, and I'm a women's mental health coach. And today, what I wanted to come here and talk to you about is the importance of labeling our emotions. So, recently, we've all been going through so many changes and shifts with the world events. And so, a lot of us have been experiencing perhaps a sense of heaviness, maybe stomach ache, maybe headaches, and all kinds of physiological shifts in our bodies, right? And all of this is because of what we're experiencing. There's so much happening. And so today I just wanted to give you a little bit of a small tips and hints about how to label your emotions and the importance of doing so. And then we're going to go forward with a way for us to actually get in touch with them. All right, so you can even grab a paper and a pen and write along with me. Okay? So, emotions are feelings, it's how we feel, it's things that we feel on a physical level as well. You know, sometimes when you're feeling certain things, like you're feeling angry, you start to get heat in your body. Maybe you notice your stomach area becomes warmer. You notice it's a feeling of being explosive. And so, when we get triggered for whatever reason, then what happens is we start to indulge in these emotions, or they start to expand within us, especially if we are unable to process them. And then we switch into being reactive instead of being responsive. And sometimes, especially with anger, we kind of lose our ability to control how we respond and how we behave. So let us talk a little bit about the different kinds of emotions that we feel. And then I'm going to share with you the wheel of emotions right now so that you can actually start to understand and know how to label them. Okay? So let me just share my screen here. So the whole point of this is for us to shift from reacting to responding. And those come from two different parts of the brain. So when we're reacting, actually a part of our brain that is called the amygdala, which is responsible for our emotional responses, which gets activated when we get into a stress response, which is fight or flight, or freeze or fawn. And so what happens there is we lose the ability to control the outcomes of how we behave, how we think, how we respond. And then we start to respond in a way that is very different from when we are actually in the seat of our power, which is when our prefrontal cortex, which is this part of the brain, becomes activated. That is the mastermind. That is the ability for us to respond out of logic. Okay, and so when we're stressed out, when we're in fight or flight and stress response, we lose that ability and we start to think from an emotional space. We make decisions that come from an emotional space, which may not really serve us, which we may regret in the future. Okay, all right, so let me share with you the wheel of emotions. I'm going to share that right now, which is right here. Okay, so this is a workbook that I have done for my clients. If you're interested in that, then you can contact me. Let's see, full screen. All right. This is just a little bit. I'm just going to jump forward into the wheel of emotions. There we go. There's our wheel of emotions. So this is a wheel created by Jeffrey Roberts. And if you look at the center, we have the six main emotions that we feel. So we can feel fearful, angry, disgusted, sad, happy, surprised, or bad. And then as you move along, if you move your eyes towards the second ring, okay, you'll notice it getting into more specific details. And then when you go into the furthermost outer ring, you'll get even more kinds of emotions related to the central one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 main emotions. This is just one of the emotional wheels. There are so many. And the point of us is just to be able to label them. Remember that. So let's go to the central circle, which is the easiest one. And yeah, so UCLA neuroscientists discovered that when we are able to label our emotions, it actually it reduces the emotional pain. And so when you're able to label them, it reduces the emotional pain. And he even noticed that it's similar to taking a painkiller to reduce the physical pain, because emotional pain can actually create physical pain. So imagine just by labeling it, you can reduce that kind of pain. So, and why does that happen? Because when we're able to label it, as I said, we switch we switch off the amygdala and we switch on the prefrontal cortex, which is the decision maker, the one that can actually have control and responds properly. It gives you the choice of responding. So let's put this into practice. All right, so I invite you to sit in a comfortable position and maybe lower your gaze or close your eyes, whatever feels good to you. I'm going to keep the wheel of emotions up here so that you can lean into that whenever we do the practice right now. It can help you as well with the labeling process. So I want you to just bring your awareness into your body and maybe shuffle your feet if you're sitting, or maybe even rub your hands on your thighs. I like to close my eyes because it helps me to focus inwards, tuning out the distraction of the outer world. So just begin to notice how it feels to just shuffle your feet, noticing the floor underneath you, noticing the heaviness and the weight of the body on the chair, tuning into your breath, just bringing your awareness back to your breathing. Maybe even extending your inhale, taking your breath in through the nose, and breathing out of the mouth. Sighing it out, lowering the shoulders. Let's do that 2 more times. Breathing in through the nose, expanding the lungs in all directions, holding at the top, and exhaling. Beautiful. Just settling a little bit more in your chair. 1 more time, breathing in through the nose and breathing out of the mouth, soft breath. Now I invite you to just begin to breathe in and out naturally from your nose. When we breathe in and out of the nose, when we breathe in consciously, that's another way also to activate the mastermind, the prefrontal cortex, shifting out of your emotional response. Now, so beautiful. I invite you to scan your body just with your mind's eye. Imagine that you are scanning, attuning to and paying attention to your body, starting with the top of the head, down the face, down the shoulders and the arms, beginning to bring awareness to any sensations you feel in your body. Noticing the chest, bringing awareness to the belly, the spine, the hips, the thighs, the knees, the feet. Noticing what sensations you're experiencing right now. So I'll help guide you here. Perhaps you're noticing somewhere that's cold in your body. Maybe you're noticing heat. Maybe you're noticing that you're experiencing both. For example, I feel coldness in my fingers and I feel heat in my belly. So let's label that. That's the easiest to label, what we're feeling in our body. Perhaps you notice somewhere that feels heavy. I feel a sense of heaviness in my hips. And somewhere that feels light. So just, we're doing a sensory treasure hunt. Scanning and looking for those different sensations. Perhaps you feel a sense of pain somewhere, or a dullness, a dull ache. Just bring your awareness there. Beautiful. Now that we have done this beautiful sensory treasure hunt, I want us to go a little bit deeper into our emotional landscape, noticing what kind of emotions are coming up for you. What is the dominant emotion, perhaps that you've been experiencing the past few hours or days? It could be subtle, or it could be really loud and obvious. And let's label that together. So notice, has it been fear, or anger, or disgust, perhaps a little bit of sadness, or maybe joy and happiness? Surprise, or just a general feeling of feeling bad. It could be one, or it could be a mixture, because as multidimensional human beings, we can actually have more than one experience at one time. And that's okay. So for example, I've been feeling a little bit fearful and happy. And notice the effect of just labeling that emotion in your physical body. Notice any subtle shifts. For example, I noticed that as I labeled my emotions, I took a sigh, a deep breath in, and I felt a sense of relief in my body. I noticed my shoulders settling. I noticed that I just feel like a bit more ease within myself. Now notice I didn't ask you to explore why you've been feeling that. The why we don't want to, right now is not serving us. We just want to label. We're just practicing labeling. And I can say now I feel a sense of relief in my body, a sense of ease. And maybe a thought comes along with that. Everything's going to be okay. That's the thought that's coming to me right now. I'm fine. I'm good. Everything's going to be okay. All right, and with the next breath, we're going to start to roll the shoulders, move the fingers, maybe rub the hands together. If your eyes are closed, just create some heat in your hands and place them on your eyes. Taking another deep breath in. When you're ready, slowly begin to flutter your eyes open. And look around the room, grounding and orienting back to the space that we're in. Remembering that you're sitting here on this chair. Sometimes when you take this breath, you notice that things look different, right? So I hope that was useful for you. Just a quick video for you to explore your emotions. I'd love to hear from you. So you can put a message at the bottom of this video. You can contact me on Instagram. My handle is, I'm going to put it down there, at dr.farah.wellness.coach. And if you'd like to purchase the emotional exploration booklet, please contact me and I'll be happy to help you. All right. See you soon.